welcome back to the Argyle HR Leadership Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat, and we will address your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce our speaker, Laura Maffucci, Vice President, Head of Human Resources at G-P. We're excited to have Laura with us for a thought leadership titled AI at Work, Harnessing New AI Tech to Scale and Transform Your Workforce. Welcome, Laura, and over to you.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm excited to be here to talk about this up-and-coming topic today that is on everyone's mind. As we all know, AI has been heralded as a game changer for the future of work and how we do business. And today we're going to talk about how AI technologies are going to reshape HR and enable global growth and global employment and its implications for HR. So the pace of change has never been this fast, and yet it will never be this slow again. Justin Trudeau said this at Davos in 2018, but it certainly is more true today than ever. It's absolutely awe-inspiring to see how much business transformation is happening out there, especially with the emergence and adoption of new technologies like AI. And with all of that change, the need for HR professionals to adapt and evolve to ensure that organizations and employees can successfully navigate all this is increasing faster than ever. And there's two crucial things that HR professionals need to think about. And those are, how do we future-proof our workforce, whether that means reskilling current employees or finding and hiring newly highly skilled talent, or a combination of both, and how to help employees adapt to change and enable them to utilize AI to make themselves more efficient and smarter. And how are we leveraging those AI tools in the day-to-day natural process of work to be more strategic and efficient? So as we all know, AI is all around us. It's the top of everything. It's your entire LinkedIn feed. It's everywhere. And so many new AI technologies are available out there for recruitment, performance evaluation, predictive analytics. There's even a great tool out there that I was looking at that works on interpersonal communication and can also be applied for cultural sensitivity when expanding globally. So in that global context, AI can be even more powerful than in other contexts. It plays a crucial role in helping build and manage teams compliantly while navigating complex regulations that vary by market. And our new research at GP reveals that more than 2/3 of business leaders around the world believe AI is critical for operating and being competitive across those global markets, and 84% are planning to invest more in the technology this year. But in contrast to that, 97% of leaders express concerns related to their AI plans and goals. It's come upon us so quickly without much education, and most organizations and leaders are struggling to understand how to work with it. And AI can provide incredible value, but we really, as companies, need to plan to unlock it. Without the right people, processes, technology, and mindsets in place, organizations are going to be ill-prepared for that successful adoption of AI. So one of the most common AI missteps that we're seeing and that executives are saying they're seeing companies make is having implementation that's not aligned to business strategy. About 49% are reporting that they're seeing this. And the majority believe that AI can be applied to a variety of use cases, and they hope to achieve them all. But everyone's just jumping right in there and not necessarily thinking through, how are we aligning this to business strategy before diving into AI? Is there a really, though, a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to AI? And how can HR leaders think about leveraging it? I really think that AI is going to enable us to do our jobs in HR much better and much more efficiently. One of the areas I think has a lot of value is accessing and managing talent. A lot has been said about how it will help HR teams be more efficient in terms of scanning resumes and other administrative processes, but it can also help us be a lot more strategic. It can help us identify areas of opportunity, such as countries with the best talent for their industry and regions with favorable regulatory environments. It can also help in detecting changing laws and regulations to ensure that businesses are aligning with local labor laws and are notified of lurking risk factors. And this will enable companies to make more informed decisions about that. And this is especially critical as organizations are thinking about expanding into new markets. This requires navigating challenges that they wouldn't face in their home market. And AI can really give huge value to them in supporting compliance, overcoming language and cultural barriers, and connecting with their teams. So, speaking of that global opportunity, almost 96% of executives believe that companies that use AI to support asynchronous work across countries or time zones are soon going to outpace those that don't. But like any emerging technology, there's really a fine line between embracing that innovation and also mitigating the risk. But even with that, AI is definitely here to stay. Companies that tap into it are going to have the advantage. It's growing at an exponential rate, and there's a need to determine strategies and plans and get the right talent on tap to future proof your business. The evolving expectations of new generations entering the workforce underscore the necessity for companies to adapt, particularly in their use of technology like AI. As these young professionals seek growth opportunities, flexibility, and global workplaces, AI can play a critical role in meeting these demands. Some reasons why that companies really must embrace AI to attract today's top talent and prepare for the future. First and foremost, workplace flexibility to attract and retain the right talent. AI really supports flexible work arrangements by enabling more efficiency in workflows and communication, and it's really critical for enabling world-class asynchronous work across multiple time zones. This flexibility is so highly valued by new generations who really are prioritizing work-life balance and often prefer to work at times that suit their personal productivity. And not just those newer generations. I think everyone reprioritized during the pandemic, and a lot of people are placing a higher value on balance and being able to work when and where is best for them over having to go into an office every single day. In addition, there's career development and learning opportunities that AI can unlock. AI-driven platforms can offer personalized learning experience, career development paths, provide diverse experience and growth opportunities that young professionals seek. It can identify skill gaps and recommend courses, project career trajectories, and it can help employees navigate their own growth within the company. It presents a tremendous opportunity for employees, especially in the tech space, to gain the AI skills that most people don't have. It's very similar to when social media became a big thing and you would see postings for social media with, 10 years of experience in social media, but social media was so new, no one was going to have 10 years of experience in it. AI is similar. So it really presents a lot of opportunity for those learning agile folks who really want to grow and develop their careers. It also can help with global collaboration, enhancing it by breaking down language barriers through real-time translation tools, facilitating smoother communication among diverse teams. And this capability is particularly attractive to those who aspire to work in a global context. And also, AI is critical for running the business for the future. It gives companies a competitive edge. Those that are leveraging AI to streamline operations, innovate products, and optimize their customer experience are really more likely to stay ahead of competitors. And that edge is not only important for business performance, but it also makes these companies much more attractive to ambitious talent out there. Scalability, AI technologies will allow businesses to scale operations more efficiently, manage larger data sets, handle increased workloads, and do all of that without proportionally increasing headcount. The scalability is really crucial for companies that are aiming to grow in a global market. And sustainability. By optimizing resource management and improving operational efficiencies, AI can also help companies achieve sustainability goals, a significant concern for the environmentally conscious younger workforce. So you may be thinking, what does that mean for the workforce and for HR? And our research found that 98% of executives predict their organizations are going to need to create new roles or to implement and monitor AI successfully. But that causes concerns around how AI is going to impact jobs, roles, and responsibilities. Do we need to hire new talent? Can we think about reskilling the current workforce, a combination thereof? And while the introduction of AI into your business processes doesn't necessarily mean you need new roles and skills, companies can approach this challenge by both hiring specialized new talent and reskilling their current workforce. This balanced approach will allow businesses to harness the full potential of AI while maintaining a motivated and well integrated team that has plenty of opportunity to harness the growth and development that AI offers. The implications of AI in your workforce is also going to depend on how your business is intending to use AI. Are you creating an AI product, or are you just using it internally to enhance work that is being done? And there's major differences there. So if you're creating an AI product, then yes, absolutely. You're going to need AI specialists who can develop, build, and manage the technology. And you may already have people in place that can do this work or can provide opportunities to those in place already to upskill. If you invest in this learning agile talent and foster a culture of innovation, especially in today's fast evolving landscape, there's often not one person that's going to have years of the exact experience. So you are looking, because technology is just changing so quickly. So in reality, employers should be looking for in every single person they hire, not just technology hires, because everything is happening so quickly. Learning agility is one of the key competencies and skills that that you're going to need to look for in your talent. And even if you have technologically agile folks in place to help build the tech, you really may still need to create new roles for implementation and adoption, change management, AI ethics, and compliance. And if you're using it to enhance your current role, HR really needs to be thinking about putting in place internal training programs and change management programs to help employees get up to speed. Another strategy there is to run pilots before rolling out to the entire workforce so that you can get a better understanding of the practical challenges and skill gaps of the workforce and allow for targeted training efforts. And this also allows you to train your AI so that it learns as your teams are learning as well. So when we think about the adoption of AI tools, business leaders we surveyed reported that major roadblocks are employees' hesitations and concerns, 51% of them, and 44% say that employees lack the knowledge in how to use AI. So you need to gain organizational buy-in on AI programs. And with emerging technologies, any emerging technology, especially AI, there's a fear of the unknown. And it's a huge hurdle that we need to get over first. We need to help with the mindset shift and demonstrate the value that AI can bring. It's important that leaders understand the value it brings to the business and what outcomes it will help support. And for the broader workforce, it's really about how it directly impacts the individual and the team. It's important to clearly articulate the purpose of the technology and how it can help them do their job more efficiently. Clear communication is so important, keeping employees in the loop on how the company is thinking about AI, whether we're building it or for external product or using it to support internal operations. Training is crucial, but that doesn't fall on HR. It really needs to be a full cross-functional effort. The workforce needs to understand the basics of using the tools as well as the underlying principles and capabilities, really to help demystify the tech and reduce that fear. And then AI ethics is so critically important, and those must be addressed, the ethical implications of AI, such as the privacy concerns and job displacement fears. You may be still figuring this out or developing new policies on this, and that's fine. Don't be afraid to tell people that you're still working through it. That transparency will go a long way. In training employees, again, that's so important on how to prompt and ask AI tools that are out there without giving away any sensitive information by nature of the question and the prompt that you were putting in. Microsoft has a great case study on how the HR team used it to enhance their operations. And they really focused on ensuring that the human is still part of the flow, which is something we at GP believe in wholeheartedly as well. You don't have to be in the tech department to embrace AI. And it's really important to ensure that the human is the flow with the foundation in the human judgment with AI used to enhance that judgment. They engaged with citizen developers. So they had their HR team who had no tech experience really inform the design of the tools that they were building for them. And they really viewed it that technology is in service to the people and that it can help enable their teams to practice agency over the tools and understand that that embracing that change is the way to be successful. You don't need to worry about losing your job to AI if you understand how to use AI. I think that's a really important message for people to understand that they have agency over this and the tools that it brings to them. So speaking of those ethics and compliance concerns, a lot of leaders are losing sleep over AI. Nearly 2/3 of executives report that their top concern is the financial consequences of using it incorrectly and the loss of but oddly, the loss of sensitive and proprietary data is actually last on the list. But that can be one of the areas of biggest risk if your teams are not trained on how to appropriately prompt AI tools, especially external tools like ChatGPT. So organizations need to ensure that AI solutions that are being built and used are not only effective, but also responsible and respectful of the rights and dignity of all the individuals involved, especially in an HR organization where teams are regularly handling sensitive data. And that goes back again to that education in transparency and use. It's also so important to clearly communicate to employees the purpose and mechanism of the AI tools, particularly how they process data. This can help them understand that just inputting an email into ChatGPT to help with tone might mean that they're sharing sensitive or proprietary information. Employees need to implement critical thinking skills, and it's similar to the phishing email test that we've all been educated on. Don't input private information into a public platform. On the technical side, considerations also need to include things like how tools are going to integrate and ensure compliance with other business critical tools and platforms like your HCM and payroll systems, and that AI solutions meant for a global business work for a global business and take into consideration unique needs of the various market, and that the tools have security and compliance measures in place to protect against data breaches and ensure compliance with global data protection regulation. So finally, we know that the way work has changed. It's been the overwhelming narrative out there since 2020, but lately we've seen some shifts with businesses returning to the office and old ways of doing things. However, over an overwhelming 95% of executives agree that AI is going to be critical in making the transition to remote work permanent reality. And I believe that change needs to be embraced. We've talked a bit today about how AI can drive productivity and efficiency, how it can help support business, critical HR strategies and processes, and help us make more informed decisions. And it does so regardless of physical location. And at GP, we are a global remote-first organization, and it's something we believe in so strongly for our business. But I think it's important to say that companies do need to do what's right for their business when it comes to work environment. Some organizations and industries have the need to be in office. Others, like GP, can operate in a remote or a hybrid model. Regardless, AI is going to have a pivotal role in this future of work. It's not only going to be an enabler, but it's going to be a transformative force in how we do business, including enabling and enhancing remote work environments. So as we've talked so much about this today, the evolution of AI is certainly transformational for the future of work and for global business. And GP has a global intelligent assistant, Gia, that provides a better and faster way for businesses to navigate their global growth journey. When GP began building the first of its kind generative AI enabled global intelligent assistant, Gia, the goal was to remove the barriers to entry to global growth by introducing a tool to help customers around the world 24/7, 365. As the EOR market leader with more than 13 years of experience, GP and now Gia has an unmatched proprietary knowledge base on global employment and compliance, as well as market-specific tax benefits and labor laws. And this tool can help businesses plan and build teams quickly and compliantly in over 180 countries. To date, Gia has already answered over 16,000 inquiries from our customers, from answering the most complex HR and legal questions to helping onboard their professionals. AI is a strategic imperative for attracting today's best talent and preparing businesses for the future. If you'd like to download our report for more insights and trends, you can do so by scanning this QR code on the screen. Also, if you would like to learn more about GP and what we do, please visit our virtual booth, download additional content, and say hello to our BDR. Thank you again for having me, and I hope you all have a great day. And I will turn it back over to Brittany.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for such an insightful thought leadership. As a reminder, audience members can still enter questions, and we'll go ahead and review some of the questions that came through. This first question asks, with the rapid adoption of AI in HR, how can organizations balance the need for innovation with the necessity of protecting employee privacy and data security?
I think employee training is the most important thing about that. I mean, in addition to obviously good system security, IT practices, and all of those things, you really need to double down on change management and training. Even if it's just in general critical thinking skills, I think sometimes that can be lacking when everyone's moving at a really fast pace in an organization. Sometimes the first thing to go is critical thinking. And just having a foundation in that's going to enable people to make better decisions and use better judgment, but really training people on the implications of how you're prompting the tools, what you're putting into the tools, I think is the most important thing that an organization can do to help mitigate those risks.
Great, thank you. This next question, what are some of the most common pitfalls organizations face during AI implementation within HR, and how can these be avoided?
I think lack of change management and lack of understanding at just how nervous people are about it and how hard it is for them to embrace change, especially something like AI that seems to be taking over so quickly. I think, again, the transparency around we're still figuring out as an organization as well. Help us figure it out. Help us figure out the best way to have it enhance your work. And that whole concept of let go or be dragged. I think people tend to let go, have a hard time letting go of old ways of doing things. And that's why change management is so important. Having that solid change management around it and helping them understand how they can use the tool to enhance their work, whether that be through additional information, automating processes, things like that, and not as a replacement for them, I think is critical in making sure that happens.
Excellent. Thank you. It looks like we have time for at least a couple more questions that came through. How can AI help HR leaders in making more informed decisions regarding talent acquisition and management on a global scale?
Well, I think first and foremost, a tool like Gia will really help inform you about the labor market in a particular country, whether that's the availability of talent, how complex the regulations are, and things like that. I think that's really important. And then, of course, there are your other tools that automate things like resume screening and interviewing and talent assessment and things like that. But I do think those are also really good examples of where you do need that human judgment at play with these tools to ensure that there's not biases being built into the AI or through the AI, or people are, knockout questions or knockout job requirements, pulling those talent, that good talent out of the pool just because it's automated. So I think you do still have to be careful and make sure that you've got that human judgment in place.
Great. And what measures can organizations take to assess the effectiveness and ROI of AI implementations in their HR and business operations?
Well, I think if it's a very metric-driven department, like an operational area, a call center, customer service, anything like that, or even ticket-based HR, you can get at metrics on how fast you're finding information. So say you have an AI tool where you can look up the answers to a question that may be coming in. You can monitor, oh, it used to take 20 minutes to find this, and now I found it in 2 minutes. And the ticker time to resolve the ticket is reduced, or employees are getting, questions answered through an AI tool, and the tickets that go through to, say, your HR operations support staff are lessened as a result of that. So I think that those are absolutely some of the things that are more quantitative that people can focus on in these implementations.
Thank you, Laura. And actually, looks like we have one last question to close out with. I know you briefly touched on it, but is there any reluctance to change from employees? And if so, how would you address this?
I think there's huge reluctance to change for employees. It's really scary. I think everyone thinks that AI or a robot is going to take over their job, or when they hear an organization talk about, oh, we're going to put in this more automation, and automation is going to be able to do this. And the thing you're talking about is what someone's job is. I think it's really important to have good communication around, no, this is how it's going to enhance your job, and how you need to embrace it and learn it in order to use it. Again, there's that catchphrase out there right now, which is people aren't going to lose their jobs to AI if they know how to use AI. And I think that that's really important. So it's still, I do think, like anything, this really boils down to over communication, over training, and really helping to enable employees to learn how to embrace the technology to enhance their work life.
Great. Well, thank you so much again, Laura, for incredible insights and a wonderful thought leadership. I also wanted to thank everyone who joined us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. This does officially conclude the Argyle HR Leadership Forum. So thank you all again for joining us and engaging in our content. We look forward to seeing you at the next Argyle HR event, which will be our HR Solutions Expo on August 6th. Thank you again. Have a great day.